Let's just, let's get right. Let me introduce myself. This is we're gonna be real relaxed for for a second while I get prepared for this episode. Let me introduce myself really quick. My name's Hasim. I'm a creative consultant as well as just a longtime creative. A creative consultant for me means I do marketing, but I've also done other creative stuff for before. So like I can kind of pull on those elements and market better per se. I've done photography, so I know I won't just jump straight to the marketing. I won't just, okay, let's jump into doing an ad for $1,000. When it's like, as a photographer, that might look like weird. What page can you get posted on or something like that? Just me being an artist and my artist myself as well as a marketer. It's like I use that to think of the outside of the box ideas and help artists and like small businesses do better. Welcome to Outside the Art, the podcast where we talk about the business side of everything creative. Again, I'm Hasim. Today, we're going to talk about branding and more specifically what branding looks like for an artist. I have my laptop here with my notes of just topics that I wanted to touch on. So if you see me look down or if you see a quick jump cut from here to there, that's what happened. I stopped to look at my laptop. So first, what does defining your unique brand style and aesthetic look like as an artist? There are simple stuff. There are simple parts of designing your style for brand that'll look like colors, it'll look like fonts, etc. But I think it really comes down to the type of art you create and how you package it for the consumer. So you may make real chill, lo-fi raps or songs or whatever. And so when you perform real relaxed, and you might be sitting in a chair just holding the mic and it's not too jumping everywhere, etc. You may make art that's intended purposes to be hung up in a museum, or you may make art that's intended purposes to be in someone's house, sitting over their couch or their fireplace. And so your style is going to be a bit different, as well as how you package things, how you sell things, where you're selling the things at. So yeah, I think as an artist, it's cool, this is my style, but it's like, what does that look like on paper? What colors does that look like? If you're doing like other stuff, what fonts does that look like? What platforms does it look like, etc. Understanding your target audience and what they are looking for. This just goes back to brand style. Your target audience is really, for one, as a business, you usually have 2 to 3 different audiences, but that's a conversation for another time, most likely. But your target audience is the ideal customer for your business, for the brand, the clothing brand, for you as a performer who you want listening to your songs. It's the ideal customer is your target audience. What they look like per se, I like the demographics of, my target audience is people who live in this state and they do this and they like this, are cool. That's pretty easy to figure out. I'd challenge you to focus on like where your target audience lives online. Like what social media apps does that look like? What groups on those apps? What communities? What competitors do you have that they're already tuned into? Because I think when you understand where your target audience is, you can better connect with them organically. And just organically meaning like without having to pay for an ad or pay an influencer or such to post something. So you can better connect with your target audience organically. It's going to be cheaper to connect with them. There's that stereotype of starving artists. Like most artists, if you're not making any money off of your art, you're kind of poor or you're kind of broke, I'll say, as far as art goes. So just understanding your target audience and where they live online, what kind of content they consume, so how you can package up your content for where they live online, it'll just help you more organically reach them without having to spend the thousands of dollars a week in ads that a lot of people are doing. Also, when you understand where they are and like where that community of people is, you can like figure out who you need to lock in with almost to get more in touch with that community. So like instead of thinking of of some of these people as your competitors. You think of them as collaborators. Who like, oh, how can I make a song with this person because they're tuned into this community as well. And so this song might be the people in the community that listen to me and the people in the community that listen to them that don't listen to both of us. We can put them together because we make a similar type of music, or we make a similar product. I'll say building a portfolio that showcases your work is very important for a lot of artist mediums, for performers and such. It's important, but I think the packaging of a portfolio for a performer is a lot different than like just the PDF that a graphic designer can make. Your portfolio showcases who you are, what you do, how you do it, and who you've done it for. Because all of those things are important to somebody who wants to hire you for something. If you're a graphic designer, if you're a web designer, UX, whatever. But if you do something creative and you can package it in like into a portfolio and use it as social proof, it's going to help you tremendously. Like, oh, okay, now you told me that you're a photographer. What does your photography look like? Boom, it's right here all in one PDF, as well as the companies and the people you worked for. Oh, I know this company. This is a prominent company. If you've done work for them, and I can see some of the pictures, I can see some of your other work, and it's high quality. That's all I need to hire you. Really, that's all I need to be like, oh, I have this idea for this. Could you do that? And then now we're in talks of contracts. I just think a portfolio helps you showcase your work without you having to explain your work in detail. And then I think even you explaining your work sometimes just it won't be enough because you make art. So like this art is a real visual, and I'm trying to think of the visual equivalent for hearing things, but just it's seeing and it's audio. Those are things that invoke emotions out of people. So them being able to see it and feel the emotions that you are going for, or relate it to an emotion that they're feeling before you're like, this is what I meant by this. And this painting is called Hope because it'll definitely help in the long run. That and developing a strong social media presence, because I think developing a strong social media presence is the most important thing you can do. Now, a strong social media presence does not necessarily look like 100,000 followers, a verified badge, etc. It might not even look like 10,000 or 1,000, but are the few hundred people who follow you, are they interacting with you? Is it a community in those people? We could talk about the 1,000 fans concept. We'll probably do an episode talking directly about that, but it's like you don't need that many people to make money off of your art. So if your social media presence is good with a few hundred people, these algorithms are going to show it to a few hundred more people. Versus like, if you have the 4,000 or 5,000 followers, but you get 100 likes on this and this, you put this video out and it only got this many views, it doesn't look as good compared to, you got a couple hundred followers, but your video got 1,000 views because your couple hundred people shared it to a couple hundred other people. And it's like, that's better to see. You know what I mean? So like your social media presence is the most important. That goes back to my point of figuring out your target audience and like where they live online, because then you can figure out the kind of content that they like to indulge in. And that could be your social media presence. And it's like something I stress a lot of times. You do not need to be too unique. In fact, being too unique is bad. Like there's a downfall to being unique. And I'll say that, I'll bring it back and say it again. There is a downfall to being unique. A lot of times people they want to be so different and unlike everything else that you kind of get away from the point of the product, or like the thing of the product that we like in the first place. When you figure out your ideal audience and you can access them on social media, you can figure out the things of the product that they actually like. Like if it's events, you figure out, we want to have drinks and food at the event. It's like, okay, so why would you do an event without the drinks and food there? Because you're kind of alienating the people who are looking for that. Yeah, you being too unique is literally, it's a crime in my book. If you're an artist and you go on social media right now and you look up a hashtag relating to your art, you're going to find a million other people who are doing your art. There are notes that you can take from them. This person made a skit for their song. What does a skit for my song look like? And it doesn't necessarily involve it doesn't end up in you being just like everyone, but I think that's my point of like being too unique. Like, would you rather stand alone or would you rather stand out in a crowd? Because those are two different things. Like standing out in a crowd, it makes you look it's fire versus you standing alone and you're trying to make something that's totally new that nobody does for most likely for good reason. Especially with social media, go on there, look up the hashtag, look up the rap hashtag, the country music hashtag, the painters hashtag, the graphic designers hashtag, and see what are these people doing that I'm not. Oh, people are doing these kind of like this kind of content, or people are showing their face in the videos, and I haven't done that. Let me try that and see if it yields better results. The unique parts about you should really just be your art as far as marketing goes. The way you package your art should most likely be the exact way that everyone else packages their art. There's a downfall to being unique. Networking and building relationships with other artists and industry professionals. Networking is super duper duper super duper 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 important. For one, you don't know who people are, who people know, or what people do until you know. Going to the events, actually talking to people that are at the events, interacting with these people and figuring out what they do can help you as an artist. If you go to the event and you interact with other artists, you can sit down with them, y'all can collab on songs, so you can introduce your stuff to a whole new audience, or further introduce your stuff to your audience, like to your ideal audience that you're looking for, as well as people can give you pointers. Like if I make music like this and you make music like this, and it doesn't have to necessarily be the same. We both make music and we're both marketing our music. So there's notes that I could take from you, just like there's notes that you can take from me. Please stop networking and telling us who you know. We do not care. So often have like people stop me to talk to me and they talk about how they're managed by this person or they've done a song with this person, and literally 7 times out of 10, I don't know who these people are. You just assume that they have some social currency. But even if I did, it's like, what does that have to do with you standing in front of me right now? Versus like you talking to me like I'm a human saying, oh, my name is this, I do this kind of art. What do you do? And then I say, oh, my name is this, I do this, I do this. And then figuring out where those things intersect is like, that's the way for you to go. If I do marketing and you do art stuff, the way those intersect is, oh, I could sit down and we could talk, me and you could talk marketing for your music, for your graphic design, to help you get some of your goals. Versus, oh, I do marketing, I've done marketing for this person and this person, and you're like, okay, like just stop. Establishing a clear brand messaging as well as utilizing storytelling. Establishing clear brand messaging pretty much is your brand. Like, so people know what you look like when you're not on your page, when somebody's reposted you, when somebody shared you, because your values are shown throughout your work. And that goes to storytelling. When you figure out your values and you can show them throughout your work, people resonate with that, which is what, like, people resonate with Hero's Journey. And plus, a lot of times your values are going to come from where you've been and where you're trying to go. And people love this. People love the story of that as well. Of like, oh, this person came from this neighborhood where it was poverty here, and this was going on, and I can relate to that. So let me indulge in what they have going on. People love storytelling, like legit. That's why books are a thing. That's why movies are. That's why people love dramas, etc. People love storytelling. They don't just want the end product. They want to see. They want to see the 4 or 5 years ago when you were posting shirt designs and they were shitty. What does that look like? People want to see when you performing out of your garage, or you were performing in your neighborhood and nobody was rocking with you. What does that look like versus now? Like, what was changed? Did you upgrade as an artist? Did you upgrade your content? Whoop-de-whoop. People want to kind of be with you through the process of things, which is why I tell people don't go and delete everything you did in 2018 and 2017 just because it's just not up to date with the quality of your content now, because people want to see where you've come from, because people come from places and they can relate to that. Let's talk about the importance of consistency. Consistency is the most important thing, especially for social media, especially just as an artist trying to get out there. That's why some people say even when you can't do your best in others, you should be consistent. Even even when you're having writer's block, you should still be consistent as far as writing, even though it might be trash. It might be trash. It might not be the kind of music that you like. It might not be the your tone. Being consistent for when it helps you get over a lot of those blocks that we have as artists, but it keeps people here in your downtime. Like if you're dropping shirts every week, every month, and then you just stop for a couple months, when you come back, there aren't gonna be people there to buy the shirts. Like, cause we expected you that next week, you ain't come. We stopped the algorithm stopped showing us your content because you weren't posting anything. So there's a whole new stuff going on. The internet is a what have you done for me place. That's why consistency is the key. Like they're on like TikTok and stuff. People say like the experts at TikTok will say you need to post 7-8 times a day, every day, for your stuff to get out there because that's what has worked. The consistency of it. And it's simple to explain. These apps want people on their apps. Like when the more people are on TikTok, the more ads they can show to people. So it's like if TikTok can show that you're consistently bringing people to the platform, if YouTube can show that people are consistently watching your videos every day when they come out, they're going to show it to more people, resulting in you getting more views and you getting more money off of the ads or whatever that looks like for you. Because it's like you're giving, so they're going to give to you. Building a brand that is reflective of your values. Your values are like the most important thing that you should know as a person. Just not even as an artist, but as a person. Your values are kind of your guiding hand when it comes to your decisions for branding, for artistry, for life. Really, like if one of your values is quality, you shouldn't be making something that you can't trust the quality on. You shouldn't go with the shirt with the shirt blank that you know is itchy. You should because you pride yourself on quality. Your values are guiding. Your values and your goals should guide your vision for everything you have going on as far as your branding and your product. As well as just like the content and stuff that you put out. When you have your values in mind, people can pick up on that. So it's like if people can pick up on that, they can realize that they can understand your brand, they can remember your brand. So when you're reposted on to my page, and these people don't know you, but they know your content, they know your like the values that you showcase in your art, and they can feel that, they can relate to that. They can go, oh, that look like something that this person would make. Because your values are gonna align, or your values should drive exactly what you're doing as an artist, as a person. Understanding the importance of market research as a creative, in branding as an artist is super important, super duper duper important. It should help you just make your products, you package your art. You should figure out who your competitors are and what they're doing. Like I've said, the best way you can get content out. Go look up the hashtag, the rap hashtag, the country music hashtag, the painting hashtag, the graphic design hashtag, and see what those people are doing and adopt that. There's no reason for you to try and be too unique. See what those people are doing, adopt that, add your art to it, because your art should be your unique selling point. It should be the most unique thing about you. It should be the only unique thing about you, really, when it comes to you showcasing. And then that's what sets you apart. Not you trying to make a totally different thing than we've ever seen before on these apps. Because usually when no one's seen it before, it's not a good thing. So like market research can just help you figure out where your competitors are competing at, where your competitors are, to figure out where you should be. Like if the basis of all this is up here and you're down here, you should get up here. Market research will help you get up here because you can figure out, okay, what do they do that I don't do? Cool. Let me start doing that. Let me implement that into what I'm doing to get up there with them. And then we can talk about me standing out from them and the unique aspects I add to this. Understanding the importance of community and engagement in branding for artists is key. Like your community is your selling point to some of your secondary and third audiences. It's like if you're a music artist, your primary audience is going to be your ideal customer that wants to listen to your music. But then your secondary audience is like, oh, here are the people who own the venues for this kind of stuff. And they'll come pay me to play my songs here because they know I have the community to bring people in, to get the ticket sales, etc. I have the community already. I just need the venue. So like having the community and then the engagement part, but having the community and it's tangible and it's something that you can prove. Like, oh, there are thousands of people or there are hundreds of people who like my stuff every day. So I know I could put this many people in there, or I've done a show like this before, and I've put 1,000 people in the venue. I've put 100 people in a small room. Okay, we can trust that because you can, if you're locked in with that community, we can trust that this community is going to show out for you. And last but not least, the role of personal branding as an artist. For most artists, your brand is you. Oftentimes, people's clothing brands are named after them, or it's a reflection of you and your values, or if you're doing some design, it's you in the videos doing the marketing. It's your face plastered everywhere. It's when you're networking, people are meeting you, they're not meeting your company. Your personal branding is a result of that. It's your personal branding is your branding as an artist 9 times out of 10. If you are making people uncomfortable in the rooms, people aren't going to allow your business in the rooms because people don't like you as a person, and like you kind of have to put your best foot forward when it comes to stuff like that. If you are known for something bad, but then you try to start this business and change your outlook, people already know you personally for that. Like your personal branding is your branding. It's like how when you go to make a business bank account, or you go to get a business credit card, you just started your business, they're going to pull your personal credit card because they want to see who you've been before you decided to start looking like this. Plus, I think just being personable it sells in today's world. Like people being able to feel like they're talking to you versus your business when they're in your comments on these social platforms, it helps you sell. It helps you relate more to your audience, to your customers, and they'll like that. Those are some of the basics for what branding looks like for creatives. My name's Hasim. Again, this is the Outside the Art podcast. I want to thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of it. As always, you can find this podcast on multiple other platforms. And on said platforms, you may be able to give this podcast a review or a rating. If you like the podcast, give it 5 stars. Tell us what you liked about it if you can. If you're watching this on YouTube, hi. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, hello. Thank you for being here, for listening to us. I hope that you got something from this. If you have, you can follow us on the gram. It's Outside the Art Pod. You can follow us on TikTok. It's just Outside the Art. On Facebook, Outside the Art. You'll be able to find some clips. You might be able to find some clips that we haven't put on YouTube or that haven't been turned into a podcast per se. So you can tune into that. If you listen to this, hit us on the DM on the Instagram or on one of the apps and just give us something that you learned or give us your review or give us your outlook or something that you want to implement that we talked about today. Thank you for being here.